Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, Roland Martin here, and This is my Friday update. Of course, it's actually the right now. It's the last week of March, and a lot of really good things are happening right now. This is the height of the good bass season. Of course, I'm fishing Fellsmere all the time, and fishing the Headwaters Lake all the time. And I'll give you a rundown of what's happening there, but it's just all really good fishing. But first of all, let me just show you what's going on back here. Back here, I have my brand new airboat that I just bought. So what it is, this is about a 15-foot airboat. Let me just show you this thing real quick. This is an Alumatech, and it's got the big Continental. That's a 520 cubic inch engine, and it develops about 325 horsepower. And this is a pretty heavy boat, but yet it's got enough power to just power it through just anything I want to do. That's about a 40-gallon gas tank. I've got extra batteries, and up front, not only do uh, I have also a trolling motor up front, so I can deploy the trolling motor, and that's good. And in the back, I don't have them yet, but I have power poles. Now, this guy Bill there at Fellsmere, he installed all sorts of stuff on airboats. He's the airboat specialist of Fellsmere, and Bill's establishing and well, he's checked out the engine. He's certified it. And that's the other thing. I'm going to a certification right now. I'm going to go to Gainesville, Florida. And what that is, years ago, we didn't have to have certification like this. Years ago, being a captain, I'm a 100-ton charter captain as well. I've had a charter license since 1968. But that's one issue, but that's not good enough because the state of Florida requires now a new certification, and the new certification is for airboats only. Now, what you have to do with the airboat is you have to run it a course, and you have to demonstrate the fact that you won't sink it, you won't roll it, you won't crash it. You know how to steer it into the wind, and so it's extremely important to have this certification because a couple of people were drowned. A couple of people that had these big charter boats and these big tour boats that they didn't know how to run the boats properly, and so because of that, the last couple of years they've required this new certification, and it's just expensive, and I have to have CPR, of course. I need the captain's license that I already have, and I'll have to go for a course, and I'll have to take a written course, and I'll have to demonstrate all my turns and how I stop properly without washing a backwash of water into the boat, how to turn properly into the wind because it's like an airplane, and it's really hard. Now, this is my fifth airboat. So in my younger days when I was doing foolish things, I've sunk them, I've crashed into trees, I've flipped them over. I mean, nothing real serious, but I've had problems with them because you have a tendency to want a hot rod because this is kind of a toy thing. But I'm over all the toy hot rod and stuff. I mean, that's not something I do anymore. This is going to be strictly a work boat. I'm going to be taking it out to the Three Forks area, and the Three Forks is a great big giant 15,000 acre reservoir that's real shallow. It's kind of airboat only kind of a situation. You can't hardly run a regular boat out there. It's just too shallow, too loggy, and you just can't do it. I tore my regular 2072 tractor up. I tore it up, the prop. I tore the trolling motor all up getting out there. It is very good. I've caught 10-pound bass or close to 10-pound bass on two of the trips out of just 4 trips I think I've made out there. We've caught bass almost 10 pounds 2 times. So it's really, really a great place. Well, this boat is going to be the deal. I'll be able to have 2 passengers. And of course, I have all the life-saving equipment. I have extra radios. I have extra gas. I have extra food. I have extra everything. So it's not a matter of getting stranded. Plus, I work with another captain, Captain Mike Arnoldy. He's really, really a good guy, and he goes out to the Three Forks all the time. He has a nice airboat like this as well. And we're going to be working together some, so it's not going to be any kind of a problem with. I'll probably go out there for the most part when Mike's going out there. So that's going to be hopefully what we'll be doing. But all summer long, let me just tell you about summer. The summer here in Florida is not as bad as you think because the Gulf's only 10 or 15 miles away, and there's a northeast wind coming. And it's really nice. It's maybe it's 20 miles, right? It's not very far. 5 miles. I mean, it's not very far. And so the nice warm, cool breeze, 80-something degree breeze is coming off the Gulf, and it's a northeast wind right now. In fact, it's not that bad. Here it is, the 1st of April, and it's 75 degrees. It's really comfortable. And that's often the case in June and July and August. If there's a breeze like this, a northeast breeze, it's not bad at all. I lived in Oklahoma. I lived in Maryland, and I lived in Alabama, and all those places were hotter in the summer than here in Florida, at least on this coast right here where we are right now. So actually, this isn't so bad. Okay, the airboat's really a big deal. I'm going to go drive up there right now and get certified. I got all the safety equipment for it and all ready to go. But let me just talk about what's going on the Headwaters Lake. The Headwaters Lake is on fire, folks. Let me just show you a couple things that are happening. Now, you know, I do a lot of shiner fishing. I got my oxygen tanks and I got my feed and I catch my own shiners, and that's really a big deal. But a lot of people like to fish artificials as well. And that's fine because I can catch a lot of fish on artificial. We catch more bigger fish with shiners, but we catch a lot of fish on artificial. In fact, just yesterday, I went with this guy, Rick Mogget, and Rick has fished with me now 3 or 4 times. A couple times it was just strictly artificial. A couple times it was with shiners. Yesterday, we had, Rick and his son and I, it was the Moggets, 55 bass, Roland 1. And the reason is, in my guiding, I have a designated angler. And in fact, yesterday we were running 5 rods. We were running 5 shiner rods at one time. And so every time they'd each be holding a rod, and I'd have 3 rods lined up. Who's the designated angler? Another rod would go out. I'd say, here, Rick, you take this. And his son was there. And I said, here, son, take this one. And so actually what happened, they both caught their personal best. Now, I fished with them. This is the 4th trip I fished with Rick. And I hadn't beat the 8-pound mark. But yesterday he got an 8 1/4 pounder. And his son got a 7 1/4 pounder, and another 7 pounder. Rick got another couple of 6 pounders. So it was just a fantastic day for big giant bass. But the other problem, it's not a problem. Rick wanted to catch a couple on topwater. And I said, Rick, throw this devil horse. And you've heard me talk about this devil horse. Let me just show you. I'm going to come down to the water and just show you something. This devil horse is just fantastic. Now, this is a bright, sunny day now. And this isn't the kind of day that you'd want to fish a devil's horse because it's too bright and sunny. But basically what we were doing yesterday, the cloud cover was there, and we were taking it and throwing it to the edge of the hydrilla. Now, this is not the lake. This isn't the Fellsmere. This is just a little pond. So, but what we do is let it just drift real slow and easy, and hardly any wind. And 2 different times, he'd throw it out there, and I'd say, Rick, here, take this rod. There's a big shiner fish on this, a big 5-pounder. So he'd be reeling the rod, and he'd lay this rod down, just lay it down on the boat, and he'd be fighting this big 4 or 5-pound bass in with a shiner, and boom, wanted to grab the plug, just eat the. And I'd say, put your foot on the rod, and he had his foot on the rod, another 3 or 4-pound bass on the plug, and one on this rod, and the son would have one on. And so I'm talking about pandemonium. I'm talking about absolute. But he did catch 5. And we didn't fish topwater very much, but he did throw this about 100 times. Basically, just throwing it out there and just letting it just drift along real slow and easy. Now, this isn't probably any bass in here. I don't know if it. I got one just right then. I just drifted it out there, and one just hit it just right now. So that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that was happening yesterday. I threw it out there, and all of a sudden, this bass just comes up and annihilates it. It was just floating. I wasn't even working it. I wasn't even moving it. This bass hit it. But that's the kind of thing. They were a lot bigger yesterday. Let me tell you. This is a little community pond. I didn't even know there was any bass in it. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be fishing here. But anyway, that's kind of what happened on the Headwaters was the topwater plug, particularly that devil's horse, on a slow retrieve or no retrieve at all. Just like I just caught that little bass. I just throw it out there, just let it drift. Hey, we caught bass right and left, and he caught 5 good. Okay, another lure. Let me show you something else. Okay. Now, there's another lure that I call the most rock solid lure in the whole world, and that is a silver spinning rod. I got 20-pound test line. That happens to be a 6-inch Senko, cut down about an inch, so it's actually 5 inches. And that's a black one. And how many times have you heard me say, any color will work as long as it's a 297 green pumpkin? Well, that's not the case. Actually, the green pumpkin is the #1 color, and that's a big deal. This happens to be kind of a black one. but any dark color will work. Now, what we're doing with this worm is a different kind of deal. If you notice, there's no weight on there. You notice how many minutes? Let's see, huh? 10 minutes. Oh yeah. Oh good, we got 10 minutes. What we're doing with that worm is we're just throwing it out there. We're just letting it sink. We're just hardly moving it at all, and it just sinks slowly to the bottom, just slowly to the bottom, and then we just slowly pick it up, just slowly move it, and just kind of swim it along. It just barely moves along, and these bass go absolutely crazy. I'm not going to catch one. I don't want to catch one, but I'm just telling you, if you back your lures up, and particularly with the topwater like the Devil's Horse, have a Senko ready, because a lot of times they'll boil at the plug and miss it, or just not even take it at all, and then throw the little plug in there and throw the little worm in there, you get them. Okay, the other couple lures that I wanted to recommend real quick. Number one, we're just in the large grass flats. We actually swim a worm, and this is the big swimming worm. We just swim that along with a little 8-ounce weight, 20-pound test line. That's just a really good combination of just swimming it over the thing. And then, of course, there's a lot of heavy grass and lily pads and a lot of really heavy hydrilla. Nothing like this Pro Frog. And I use all different colors, black ones, white ones, jungle colored ones. But these are great. And I also bend the hooks out a little bit. But there's a lot of real heavy little patches of hydrilla that you can throw this frog in. So if you want to lure fish, there's plenty of opportunity. So right now, bass are on fire at Headwaters. It's also turkey season. I'm selling my turkeys. So turkey calls. I've taken a couple of good turkey trips already, and things are going. I'm getting certified with my Airboat. I'll be taking summer trips out there to the Three Forks and catching big giant bass on lures and Shiner's boat. But anyway, that's what's happening in my world. Lots of interesting fishing going on. Come on down to Florida. Give me a call. If you need to, just call me at, get a hold of Judy M at fishingwithrolandmartin.com. And that is the way to get in touch with me, Judy M at fishingwithrolandmartin.com. But hey, we'll take you fishing. We'll have a good time. In the meantime, we'll see you soon. Hey, thanks. Oh, one other thing. Hit the likes button. Bass Pro Shop and O'Reilly's, they just love the likes. The likes. Please hit the likes. It helps me out. So, okay, folks, we'll see you again soon. Thank you.